In this episode of Getting Geeky with Gamerlife, I sit down with Paul to talk all about Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book that is on Kickstarter through this Friday, pretty much Thursday, as the project ends really early morning on Friday here in the United States. So definitely go listen to that interview, and then afterwards we'll have a few great games that are on or about to be on Kickstarter in our Kickstarter Corner portion of the show. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book. Speaking of that, we just had him on the show, and you're about to listen to that interview. But anyways, it's a new comic book, superhero role-playing system, and source book on the world of Union City and its heroes and villains. They are fully funded, so they're at 100% of their goal, and there's still 5 days for you to get in on the action of this one. The art is amazing, and they're still working on it. But go check out Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book on Kickstarter through this Friday. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly being powered by Purrsident, like president, but purr from a cat. Purrsident, a game of ferocious kitty politics and an all-around good time. They're on Kickstarter for 3 more weeks, going through Sunday the 2nd of December. If you stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to Getting Geeky with Game Relief, you'll be able to catch my interview with the creators and masterminds behind Purrsident on our next episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief this Wednesday, the 14th of November, I believe. So go and subscribe right now so you won't miss an episode. And then check out Purrsident on Kickstarter. Last but not least, this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly being powered by Rotunda-Last Man Standing Family Party Game. It's in which you battle your friends and family in 16 minigames to decide a champion. In talking with the creators of Rotunda, it has a great feeling of Mario Party for your tabletop. But it sounds really awesome and really fun, and I'm going to have the creators on the show on this Thursday or Friday. So make sure you're subscribed, and also make sure you subscribe to my email, as you'll get the design interview episode as we sit down and talk about them designing the podcast, and that is strictly for my podcast email subscribers who subscribe at gamerleafgo.com. So make sure you're subscribed. But anyways, and if you're listening to this after the fact, after the email's already gone out and you want to hear about it, go ahead and shoot me an email at gamerleafgo.com and let me know you've subscribed since then, and we'll go ahead and make it happen. But definitely check out Rotunda, Last Man Standing Family Party Interview. We now join this interview already in progress.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book that's currently on Kickstarter, about to reach the 100% mark of being funded at the time of this recording. Tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creator mastermind behind this great new system and whatnot. Is that correct? Is that how you fall in line with Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book, Paul?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So, yeah, I'm the one who came up with this world that I've been developing for like 20 years, and with the system of gameplay that I've based off of years of playing these tabletop RPGs, and really developing a unique system that I think really captures the comic books and the feel and the tropes that you get in comic books, um, with a really nice blend of narrative and numbers. And for about a year now, I've been working with Antonio Garcia, who is a really tremendous artist. He has a great feel for comic books, comic book action and style. So I've been designing these characters, he's been drawing them, and we have a ton of great art to represent what this world really feels like, because comics, of course, are a visual medium. So I think you really get a lot of the feel of the world through the art as well as the storytelling in this book.
Well, that's great. Now, before we get in any further into the book or into the game or whatnot, let's rewind a little bit. You talked of playing RPGs for quite some time. How did you get into the whole world of tabletop RPGs?
I was on vacation. I am the oldest of five brothers. I have four younger brothers, and we were at a cabin on a lake up in the woods of Maine, and I went to the local bookstore and I got the box set for Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition and said, "Boy, this looks cool." And I brought it home and I said, "This is a game that all of us can play." And we pulled out the map and we all played through that whole adventure. And when we got home, 4/5 of us went out and we bought the rest of the books and the dice, and we started playing the games with ourselves and with our friends, and we have a Dungeons and Dragons role playing game that's been going on ever since then. So 20 years at this point of this Dungeons and Dragons game.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons, that's awesome. 20 years, the same game?
The same game, the same world. At this point, we're playing the kids and the grandkids, the ancestors of the characters we first played with 20 years ago. But it's part of our um, idea that we build these worlds and these generations in the same way that they did in comic books, with the golden age to the silver age to the bronze age, and playing various superhero games over that same time span with a lot of different groups, with my brothers, with friends, with random gamers, using various systems. I kept building this world of Union City, and adding more characters to it, and kind of getting into this multi-generational story the same way that comics built a multi-generational story.
Is Dungeons and Dragons the only game you've played, or have you played other games besides Dungeons and Dragons?
I have played literally scores of role-playing games of various genres: horror, fantasy, superhero, sci-fi. The list goes on and on. Um, I'm very familiar with a lot of different systems. I've run a ton of different games, so I really have a feel of what works, what doesn't work, and what players are looking for from an RPG.
So it might be kind of hard to pick, but if you had to pick out of all the ones you've played, what would be your current favorite, Paul?
Well, in all honesty, I would say Union City Heroes, but being that that's about to come on the market and not available to the general public, um, right now I really love Pathfinder. I just had a ton of fun with the game Masks, which is another superhero RPG. Um, it's got a lot of great ideas, but it's the apocalypse system, which I like, but I find it's very limiting, and it's you just roll two dice, and I'm looking for more out of a gaming experience than that. So Masks is a great game. It's a great superhero RPG, but my personal favorite game right now is Union City Heroes.
Okay, so speaking of that, and word on the street is you have a new project on Kickstarter called Union City Heroes. What can you tell us about that new system and whatnot, Paul?
Sure. So, this game is designed to be reflective of a comic book. So instead of a turn, you have a panel, and what you're able to do in that panel is descriptively whatever you can describe in a comic book panel. Is your character burst up through the rubble and punch the bad guy? Do you fly up in the air and begin the pursuit against a villain? Do you blast a bunch of minions with various bolts of lightning for your hands? The scope of what your turn is based on narrative and description, and that's in consultation with the editor-in-chief, the game master. In this game is the editor-in-chief. We're all coming up with a comic book as we tell this story. So the story goes in panels. That's how the game is played out. And in comic books, of course, we fight supervillains, and our supervillains have mechanics in place that let you potentially play them over the course of a campaign, fighting them multiple times, and having the heroes either able to win fights but still have the villain be around, or defeat the villain potentially numerous times, or even be defeated by the villain. And in Union City Heroes, supervillains are able to level up the same way that heroes would be. They're also able to win combats without killing off heroes, because I think one of the things in a more conventional game is, like in Dungeons & Dragons, you go into fight the dragon, and either the dragon kills the heroes kill the dragons, whereas in a comic book, Lex Luthor is around for the entire length of Superman. We're talking about 70 years now. Supervillains have a more lasting presence on the story, but you still want to be able to fight the supervillains and win. So our system allows you to do both things in a really fun and engaging and unique way.
That sounds great. Can you be either the hero or the villain, or are you stuck with being the heroes?
Right now, this game is built to be heroes, but it's a set of rules. So, if your game turns into a game of villains, this could potentially allow for that. Now, what we're hoping to do in the future is supplements like Villains of Union City Heroes, or Union City Villains, perhaps, where we'll have a much broader list of even more villains, because we're going to have a bunch of different villains and minions and monsters in this book, and more specific rules for how to build and play a villain. One of the stretch goals we're excited about right now is the anti-hero class, which is a lot more, take no prisoners, kill on sight, more violent hero, more of a loner. So we're going to have rules for that, but down the line, we're hoping for a lot more rules to allow you to do more stuff as a villain. But right now, totally, you can play as a villain. It's just not built that with as many options that way.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Now, in testing and playtesting the game, was there ever anything you had to scrap because it just wouldn't work?
I don't think there's anything we've had to scrap yet. There's some stuff that we're still playtesting that we really want to get right, but we're not there yet. So a couple things. One is the way we did initiative, and we were working on a couple things. We're really happy with what we have right now, because we were first going with rolls, which you'd be familiar with from other role-playing games. You'd roll the dice and see what you get. That didn't quite feel right. We're still working on heroes always go first, and right now it's based on the number of hero points that you have. So if you spend them in a round, you'll go later in subsequent rounds. A couple other things we're working on, but we haven't hit on the right solution yet, but we're getting there, is a chase mechanic for chase scenes. So we're working on a way of doing fun, engaging chase scenes as a potential part of stories. And another one we're working on, but we're not quite there yet, is splash pages. How to get a splash page of your character doing one tremendous thing in a giant panel, and whatever bonuses would be associated with that. So there are things we're thinking about. I wouldn't say we've scrapped them, but we're trying to get them to play to the maximum effect.
Well, that all sounds pretty cool. And they talk about playing in panels. So if I sat down to play Union City Heroes, what does that look like? What does that mean, playing in panels?
So the game plays like a role-playing game. It's in your head. Now we're going to give you some sheets that you can print out where you can record in the boxes what happens in each panel. But basically, like in Dungeons and Dragons, where you take a turn, instead you're taking a panel, and that's the bounds you have. At the table, what you have is for combats, we have a bunch of maps. And you're able to maneuver around those freely. There's no boxes or panels. We have a system of maneuvering that allows for a lot more freedom and fun because our maps and the movement on them happens regardless of scale. So a map could be a single vault or a city block or the entire city or the country, and your movement would not be changed regardless of what was depicted on the map. The number of times you can maneuver around the map is the same. So a super fast character is super fast on any map, but it's not like anybody's going to be left behind. So you have maps when you do combat, but otherwise it's like a role-playing game where it happens in your head and you're talking and you have your character sheet that represents your character's stats.
Oh, okay, so that sounds pretty cool. That's awesome. And so, and you said it's been in development for over 20 years, or mainly you're just playing the D&D for 20 years, the same game?
No, so for about 20 years on and off, I've played various superhero games, and all that time, for 10 of those years, I was the manager of a comic book shop. I've been a collector of comics for years. I've really, I'm very much into the genre and tapped into kind of what makes a good comic book, what makes an exciting comic book, what are the tropes that you see and the things that make it feel like a comic book story. And all this time, I was kind of thinking of my own characters and my own villains and my own settings, especially as I played these games periodically using different systems. Um, and I kept pouring them into this world of Union City Heroes. I never had a game that ran as long because I never had a rule system that really felt right for doing that kind of long-term game. That's kind of what led to me developing Union City Heroes, was wanting a system that a person could play with a group of gamers for 20 years and still feel good playing that superhero game with that system.
Now, when it comes to Union City, what would you say you're most proud of?
I mean, I would say that the balance between the narrative and the numbers is really great, because I think a first time player can sit down and play this game and really enjoy it. And a very experienced gamer who's played a ton of role playing games um, can sit down and have just as much fun, because there's enough nuance and subtlety and crunchiness that they can dig into it. But it's easy enough for somebody to sit down and play on their first time out. I am also really proud of the setting itself. I think it's a really interesting, really captivating, really cool setting. I think it's one that people will want to learn more about. It will want to explore, and I'm really proud of the art. Antonio's art is really tremendous. It's beautiful. It's perfectly in the style of comic books, and I think it just draws you into the world, no pun intended, and uh, just just makes the game come alive.
Yeah, scrolling through the Kickstarter page as I've been doing here, the art, yeah, it does look quite amazing. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and how does combat work? Like, if we sat down to play, how does combat look in here, Union City Heroes?
So one of the updates we have up on the Kickstarter, you could take a look at the hero character sheet. So on your panel, you can attack, and there are various ways you can attack. That's not limited. You can anything you can describe your character doing, you can do. It's just the bonuses or penalties to doing those things are determined by the stats you have and the powers you have. So, if you built a character with super strength, you're probably wanting you're going to want to be punching. Um, and you roll your attack, and that would be 2d10. 2d10 is the primary way we do things. And if you hit, you'd roll your damage, which is usually smaller dice, and then modifiers based on your strength or your combat scores. And all of these are things that you customize when you build your character. So the game is extremely versatile. I think it'll allow you to build any character you want, but still be easy to jump into because we have a system of both powers and qualities. And qualities are really cool because they're both very narrative in that they kind of describe what your power looks like and how it functions or why it functions. But it's also mechanical because those qualities will be affected or not affected by certain powers. So you sit down like in combat, and you can attack, or you can try to overcome various challenges that will be out on the board. It will feel a lot like reading a comic book because there's always stuff going on, um, and the dice rolling is really much more in the corner of the players than it is the editor in chief, the game master. Uh, which really gives a much more fun experience for each player sitting at the table, getting to act out being a superhero.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you want a fun game when you sit down and play a role playing game. Now, let's see here. With all the projects on Kickstarter, especially RPGs, I'm constantly seeing 5e settings and different settings. What makes your game, Union City Heroes, pop out and stand out as one that my audience should go check out and then back if they like what they see, Paul?
One thing I think that makes it worth their time is because it is a unique system. Um, while Union City Heroes as a setting is awesome, I think it's a place that people will really want to get into, will really want to explore after they take a look at the art and start reading about these characters and these stories. Um, the system itself, I think, is so fun and so unique and allows you to tell comic book stories in such a fun way that if you want to play your own superhero story, it'll let you. If you want to play, you know, a story about your favorite comic book characters that you read about or you've seen movies about, you can do that too. You can build those characters. You can build your own characters. You can build characters in the world of Union City, um, or even take some of these rules and some of these ideas and apply them to other role playing games that you play. Um, because I think there's a lot of innovative approaches to role playing and to mechanics that I've really developed over a long time as a player and a game master, that'll be worthwhile for any kind of gamer.
Well, that's awesome. Now, per se, somebody goes ahead and they take a chance on Union City Heroes, which is currently almost less than $1,000 away from its goal. They take a chance on it and become a backer. When would they anticipate getting their own copy so they can start playing in their own panels?
We're actually at 98%. We are $84 away from our goal with more than 6 days to go. So right now, I don't think Union City Heroes is a chance. I think you're getting it on the ground floor of something great. But as far as when we're expecting to come out, right now we're saying December of next year. So that's a year away. But here's the thing. We've done a lot of work already. We're saying December because we want to cushion that. I'm really, in my heart of hearts, I'm hoping 9 months, but I don't want to let anybody down. I want to say 12 months and then deliver in 9 rather than say 9 months and deliver in 10. So we're all very optimistic. We can get it done in a lot less time. But I would say the absolute latest you're going to get this is December 2019. So that's a year away. And we've got a lot of great stuff that will come out in advance of that. We're going to give out some Kickstarter exclusive adventures and content as we produce it. So people will have stuff a lot sooner than then. But right now we're looking at December 2019. So it's a year away, which in terms of game design is not that far.
Okay, so still a lot of game design and art to be completed, it sounds like.
Yeah, we want to give Antonio time to make sure that all the art looks phenomenal and to do a lot of the design is done, but we want to do play testing and really refine it into something that is truly extraordinary. Right now it's great, but we want to make it something that is phenomenal.
Awesome. And are the backers able to participate in any of this play testing by chance?
Yes, we will absolutely be reaching out to backers for the opportunity to play test. We've got a demo that is ready to go as soon as we're backed and out of the gate. We're going to give that. That's a single combat with a bunch of the rules, so you can start getting a real grasp on how it plays. And then as we go, there is going to be more play testing coming, and our backers are going to be the first people who we talk to about that if they're interested.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Now, yeah, that sounds really awesome. So, we don't want to keep you all night. So, minus coming there to your hometown to stalk you, how can they keep up with you and Union City Heroes and other stuff you might have going on in the future?
First and foremost is to pledge. You're going to get on the list for all our updates. We update frequently, and we're going to be using that to keep in touch with all of our backers as we move forward. But beyond that, you can like us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page. We post there regularly. And keep up on our website. We're about to launch a new version of the website. Right now, we've got one that looks kind of like a comic page, designed by me. I'm not a web designer. I'm a game designer. So I think it's pretty cute the way it is, but we're going to get something a lot fresher that's about to come out. And check on there because we have updates. We've got a lot of art. We've got previews of some of the rules up there. There's a lot of great stuff up on the website even now.
Oh, okay, awesome. Now, I know this is your main focus with Union City Heroes, but keeping up with you, is there anything else you're working on in the future?
Yes, keeping up with Union City Heroes will keep you up with me. We've got in the works a really great deck building game with a board component to it. I don't want to talk too much about that, but it's a fantasy game. It's kind of like an adventure card game. That will be down the road, but right now it's just Union City Heroes for at least the next year or more. But keep up with us because there is other great stuff in the works, and you can find that right now through Union City Heroes on Facebook, through our website, or through me on Facebook. I'm Paul Malco. That's MALCHOW. All the extra letters are there to confuse you because it's pronounced Malco.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty cool. And so you're into regular tabletop board games as well, not just role playing games?
Oh, big time. Absolutely. I love a ton of regular tabletop board games. It's just that RPGs and comics are kind of my first love, and this was the intersection of the two of them, like my real passion project that got me into saying I can do game design really well, and this is the thing that I want to be my first project. But I've got this other thing in the works that I think down the line, more conventional card and tabletop gamers are going to go wild for.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know you don't want to give any spoilers out or whatnot, but I'm big into deck builders. Do you have a current favorite deck builder game?
Oh, I've got a couple that I really love. Ascension is a big one, and then the DC Heroes deck building game is another favorite of mine just because of the comic book flavor of it.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I always love a good deck builder, so that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on you in regards to Union City Heroes right now, and then other upcoming games after the fact. It sounds like. Can you leave us, Paul, with a? Is there a short narrative or a backstory on any of the characters? Maybe you could give us a little bit of a teaser on what people might experience within Union City Heroes.
Sure, absolutely. So I'll leave you with this. In the first demo combat that has been played live, and there are more live demos coming up if you're anywhere on the East Coast in the New Jersey, New York metropolitan area. The demo is going to be part of our Kickstarter exclusive Super Adventure. So all our Kickstarter backers are going to get this adventure that's exclusive to them, and it's about a scientist, Dr. Kwan, uh, whose time travel technology goes horribly awry, and she becomes Dr. Quantum and opens up time portals all over Union City. And through one of them comes Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is one of the big supervillains in the Union City Heroes setting, and he showed up around World War One, took over Macedonia, and has been taking over other countries ever since. Nobody is sure if he is the actual Alexander the Great, but he claims to be, although there's been evidence contrarily stating that he's a time traveler, that he's a clone, that he's just some guy who started saying he was Alexander the Great. Um, but he has been alive and well ever since. And the first combat you will do is Alexander the Great has come with his cyborg Myrmidon and his hover tanks and is assaulting the armory in Union City, hoping to get some devastating super weapon from within the armory. And your heroes, whether you take our custom heroes like Wrangler or Miscreant or Komodo or Odysseus, or come up with your own heroes, will fight Alexander the Great and his legions on the streets of Union City.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. So, if you're listening right now and you like what you've heard, definitely go ahead and jump on over to see what Union City Heroes is all about. We'll leave links in the show notes so you can just click straight on over. We don't want to keep you all night, Paul, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leap with us to talk all about Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core rulebook that'll be on Kickstarter through this Friday, the 16th of November. We really appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just want to say thank you so much for listening, everybody. I hope you like the game, and pledge early and pledge often.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
Well, since we spoke the other day, Union City Heroes has reached its funding goal. So if you liked anything that you heard, definitely go ahead and jump on over there before this Thursday and back the game so you can get it to add to your own collection in a year. It looks like a fun one, especially if you like superheroes and RPGs. Check out Union City Heroes, a comic book RPG and setting core book, on Kickstarter through this Friday, the 16th of November, which is early morning, so might as well say Thursday like I did. So definitely check that out. Now, some other games that are on Kickstarter, just for a short time as well. We've got Dead Sprint the game. It's a board game for 2 to 5 players that need to outrun a horde of the undead. Try to stay ahead on your turn before the horde takes theirs, from Rabble Game Studios. They're about to their goal. They got a little bit ways to go, but not too much longer to get there, so hopefully you'll help them get there as this project goes through Thursday, the 15th of November. So this Thursday. So definitely go check out Dead Sprint the game. Help it become a reality. I love the artwork on this great game. And yeah, just click on that link. Go check out some of the previews, see what you think, and if you like it, go ahead and back it. If you back it come over from our clickable link. That way they can see that Getting Geeky with Game Relief was the way that you found out about them. Another great game on Kickstarter is Circuit Breaker board game. It's a puzzle game of quirky competition and crafty rodents from Freshwater Games. They've also got 4 days as they end this Thursday as well. It sounds like a fun game. I really hope they make the cut and make this great game. If not, I hope that they'll go ahead and revamp and relaunch. It looks like a really fun game where you're trying to get your house wiring set up before your friends, and you can sabotage each other. If you want to find out about how our interview went, we do have a clickable link on their Kickstarter page. Just go ahead and scroll on down and you'll see the beautiful, wonderful Game Relief logo, as well as a little bit of the circuit breakery, I guess you would call it. And it says Getting Geeky with Game Relief Circuit Breaker interview. So you can go ahead and check that out on their Kickstarter page, almost on the end. So go check out Circuit Breaker board game before Thursday. Another one that will give you a little bit longer to look at would be Catacombs 3E playmat version. It's the award-winning dexterity dungeon crawl. No dice, that's alright, all dexterity for a dungeon crawl, and it's better than ever. You flick your heroes through encounters on double-sided playmat this time. We sat down with Aaron from Ellsworth Games a little bit ago, had a great chat with him. You can go back and listen to Friday's episode, to the previous episode before this one, to find out all about it. It sounds like it is amazing. I know we haven't necessarily got it to the table, but we have backed all the Catacombs since we found out about it, and we love a good playmat. So go check out Catacombs 3E playmat version on Kickstarter through Wednesday, the 21st of November. I believe that's the day before Thanksgiving here in the United States, so check it out. I knew when I found on Kickstarter, just this last Saturday, I believe, was Bloody Cells, the Viking strategy board game. It's a print and play option. It's a strategic 4X board game set in the Viking era. You play as a Viking. It's available in print and play version. You become a Norse monarch and reach your fate of glory. This game, like I said, they got the print and play version, which is very inexpensive, delivering in December. Yeah, so it's available in print and play, but they've got quite a few options. So if you're into Norse mythology, you want a cool Viking strategy board game, definitely check out Bloody Cells, the Viking strategy board game. Print and play, or PNP is what you like to say. Definitely check that one out before the 9th of December as it runs through then. Next, this one has yet to launch, but it is going to be amazing. I gotta find our copy of it so we can go ahead and play it, tell you what Getting Geeky with Game Relief thinks about it. We did play his Frontiers, the card game. This is from Joshua McMurray at Meet Me at the Table Games. It's called Monster Mania. Monster Mania is a strategic battle card game for 1 to 6 players in which you collect resources, deal powerful attacks, and defeat all other monsters. Like I said, it launches on the 1st of December and will run through the 30th of December. There's a soundtrack and, most importantly, some awesome art. I would definitely go ahead and jump over there and check this great game out called Monster Mania. Are you subscribed to Getting Geeky with Game Relief emails? If you're not, I would definitely recommend you go check them out at GameReliefGo.com. That's kind of like Pokemon Go, but it's GameReliefGo.com. Reason being is our emails are about to get more, shall I say, exclusive. I know we sat down with the creators and masterminds of Rotunda earlier this last week, and we'll be bringing you part of the interview you'll get as a regular podcast subscriber, but one part, the last part, going over their design process and how they came up with the game will be an exclusive to my email subscribers. So if you're not in on the fun, you better get there before I send out the email. But we'll leave you with that. In the meantime, I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geekfold. And if you know of other great games you want to see featured on Getting Geeky with GamerLeaf, make sure you have them or you email me at gamerleaf@gamerleafco.com or message me on the Facebooks at Getting Geeky with GamerLeaf. But we'll catch y'all on the flip side. GamerLeaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.